lack of saturated fat and cholesterol, dietary cholesterol and saturated fat, leads to hormonal imbalances, leads to your body having a harder time producing sex hormones.
Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So I want to say right up front here, I'm not hating on Joe Rogan in this video. I mean, I watch his podcast often. He has cool guests on, interesting topics. But when the topic shifts to something about plant-based diets or what he says about vegans, there I have problems with, because he's just repeating a bunch of unfounded myths, have no basis in fact-based evidence. And it's not just Joe. These sort of myths that about vegans and plant-based diets, and in this particular video about testosterone, get repeated all throughout the internet.
It is very hard to boost testosterone and have optimal testosterone if you are on a vegan diet.
Basically, he's been a vegan for several years. He's 20 years old, and he notices that he just can't get it up. He took my advice, and boom! He's recognizing that there's some life coming back to Mr. Happy down below. Go figure, right? Nourish your body with the foods that mankind has eaten since the dawn of creation.
The real problem is when they distort the reality of the scientific findings of the human animal and diet. And that's an issue with a lot of people that are vegetarians and vegans that go on about how healthy they feel and about how awesome, but they're not doing blood lipid profiles.
So I'll take that as a challenge, Joe, to put my blood profile up here. I want to point out I've never seen yours ever once before, Joe, and I put my blood tests up here on YouTube maybe, like 6 or 7 times over the past 8 years. So my next video is going to be my complete blood panel that I took last week. So this video, though, I'm going to focus only on the testosterone portion of this video, and I'm going to compare mine to the best information we have about Joe Rogan's testosterone levels. And I think this is going to be a fun, fair, and interesting comparison, because Joe Rogan and I are the same age. We're born in the same year, just 10 days apart. So let's see if Joe's right, that you need to eat a bunch of meat and saturated fat to have healthy male testosterone levels at age 53, which we both are. Biggest difference, though, is I've been vegan for 10.5 years, and Joe is very non-vegan, even goes on the occasional carnivore diet binges.
Testosterone replacement therapy, hormone replacement therapy, I started doing all that when I was 40.
So as we'll see here, Joe's been injecting testosterone for around 13 years. So the big question is, since he's not vegan, vegan diets deplete all your testosterone, deficient and all that stuff, why does Joe, this big meat eater, need to inject testosterone for?
It's real simple. If you're fine with not feeling as good, go ahead. Stick with that. But if you're not fine with it, this is 2018. Hormone replacement therapy exists for a reason.
So let's take Joe at his own word here. I don't want to speak for him, but let's look at what he said here, because it sounds to me he may have been experiencing some symptoms of having lower testosterone levels. As he said, if you don't want to feel that good, don't worry about testosterone replacement therapy. Just keep on doing what you're doing, which sounds like he was not feeling all that great. Anyway, let's move on and see what else he says about this.
As it makes you feel way better, it makes your body work way better. You can avoid a host of ailments and conditions that are related to your body breaking down due to age with hormone replacement therapy. Add a little bit of growth hormone, add a little bit of testosterone. First it was cream, and then it became injections, and then you get to a point where you have the hormone levels of a healthy young man. You don't want to elevate. You don't want to be higher than that. That's when you run into problems.
So I get what he's saying here. It makes sense, because what Joe's referring to is the natural decline in testosterone production as we get older. It peaks in your late 20s, and that sounds like what Joe is going for. So I'll give him kudos for that, not trying to get these super elevated levels of testosterone. He just wants to get the levels that a natural, healthy man would have in his late 20s. So if that's what Joe's going for, I think it's pretty safe to assume that his natural testosterone levels before the injections were not those of a man in his late 20s. It sounds like he suffered from the normal natural decline in testosterone that happens as we age. So anyway, let's move on to the results from my testosterone blood test and see if I'm having the same results as Joe, the normal natural decline that we have in our 40s and 50s, or is it even worse because I'm vegan? So my total testosterone was 879 and my free testosterone 13.4. So let's see what these numbers mean. So let's go back to this chart that shows the average testosterone levels by age. And if you look at the average testosterone level for a person in my age bracket here, we see that 879 for total testosterone and 13.4 for free testosterone are pretty much off the charts for someone in my age group. In fact, they're even high for someone in their late 20s, which is what Joe Rogan is going for with his testosterone replacement therapy. So I have extremely strong testosterone levels, both free and total. In fact, any reference I could find verified that 879 for total testosterone is very high for someone my age, even for someone in their late 20s. Also, to counter any skeptics who might say that this is just a fluke reading, there's no way my testosterone levels are 879. Well, I had my testosterone tested back in 2018 and it was 744, so that was also a very strong reading for my age, and it's actually increased since then. Alright, so before I go and take a victory lap and champion veganism as the great testosterone producing diet, I know I'm just a case study of one, so this isn't any kind of clinical trial or anything of the sort. This is not actual science. But I do want to point out those guys I showed at the beginning, like Joe Rogan and those anti-vegans, those guys weren't scientists, they weren't medical doctors, they were just expressing their opinions, not based on any scientific reality. So it's for all you guys who are skeptical, you might be thinking, I'm just really lucky, I've hit the genetic testosterone lottery perhaps. Well, let's actually go look at what some of the science says, the fact-based evidence, what it says about vegan diets and testosterone.
If you take men on a high-protein diet, meat, fish, poultry, egg whites, and switch them to a high-carb diet of bread, vegetables, fruit, and sugary junk, their cortisol levels drop about a quarter within 10 days. At the same time, their testosterone levels shoot up by about the same amount. High-protein diets suppress testosterone. That's why if you take men eating plant-based diets and have them start eating meat every day, their testosterone levels go down, and actually some estrogens go up.
By the way, that was Dr. Greger of nutritionfacts.org, and it's not like those are the only 2 studies in the world. It wasn't like cherry picking. These findings reflect the scientific consensus. Let me share another one with you. So according to this study, with around 700 male adults, they found that vegans had lower levels of things you don't want, like IGF-1, while also having higher levels of total testosterone. However, they found that these higher testosterone levels for the vegans were offset by globulin, which binds to sex hormones. Anyway, though, they said at worst, there was absolutely no difference in free testosterone between the vegans, vegetarians, and the meat eaters. So this science shows once and for all that eating vegan is not going to deplete your testosterone levels, make you deficient. At the very worst, you'll just be the same as non-vegans, and you might be a little bit better off. So yes, it turns out I'm not a genetic freak of nature when it comes to testosterone. The scientific, fact-based evidence confirms my personal blood test results here. Doesn't mean this is true for every single vegan, it's just a general principle here that vegan diets are not inherently going to lead males to become low in testosterone. In fact, they could have you have a higher level of testosterone compared to meat eaters, dispelling these myths that Joe Rogan and other anti-vegans are spreading and have been spreading for so long in the world and on the internet. So let it be known once and for all that if you want to increase your testosterone levels, eating a bunch of meat isn't the scientific fact-based way of going about it. If anything, eating a vegan, a plant-based diet is the way to do it. And by the way, in case you're wondering, I'm quite athletic. I work out nearly every day. I'm training for basketball year-round. I've been putting on muscle, no problem. I even learned how to slam dunk at age 51. Anyway, let me know what you thought of these results. Please comment down below. Let me know if you're still skeptical. I remember on my video from 2018, a lot of people were complaining that I didn't show my free testosterone, just total. Well, they didn't test free back then. I just had total. So I made sure this time I got both of them just to silence that critique. So let me know if you have any other questions or comments. Share them down below. If you've had your testosterone levels checked, please share them down below. Let me know what kind of diet you've been on, how long you've been doing it, and especially if you're vegan. I'm curious to see if your findings reflect what mine are and what those of the scientific consensus says it should be. So leave your thoughts and questions down below. Hit like, and please subscribe to our channel for more fact-based evidence about plant-based diets here on Happy Healthy Vegan. So until next time, guys, let's keep it vegan.
When does the pain